Hello, and welcome to the Drive Home Podcast, the podcast where I'm the only one who needs to wear a seatbelt. And today, I got out around 8, which is fine, except for the fact that I started at 4, which, if you couldn't tell, is an abysmal amount of hours. Not to mention, and I said this earlier in probably a previous episode, but also, oh geez, somebody's messing with their car. I said this in a previous episode, but I work less than 20 hours this week in total, which is not fun. Mostly because the hours are weird and I just won't get paid nearly any money next week. So, I mean, hey, if this could take off, I could just drive around in a circle for 20 minutes or so. Or longer. Or I could just sit in my car or something. I don't know. I could go back and forth between my mom's and my dad's. Or something. Then that would be... Well, both ways. So that would be 2 episodes. I could do that. I mean, yeah, I could... If I do that twice a week, that would be 4 episodes that are 40 minutes long. I mean, just thinking about it out loud. But, that's if this thing took off and I got paid to do this. Which I don't. But anyway. So, just overall recently, I've been into this trend recently where I go through old series that I watched a little bit of and I finish watching them, or I watch them all the way through completely. It started with it's hard to say. I want to say it started with Ben 10, but I believe it started with Adventure Time and Regular Show and Steven Universe. And then Regular Show took me the longest just because there are, well, if you don't know, then I'm not going to spoil it. But if you do know, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are certain episodes that just don't agree with anyone. And I get this, usually it's exclusively Regular Show that it happens in. I guess there were some other points in other shows that this would happen to, but there would just be this, there's like a cringe meter. I can only take so much cringe at any one point. So for those very specific episodes of Regular Show, which there are a couple of, I had to pause, not watch it, and then come back to it later. And for a certain episode that I think a lot of people that do know of Regular Show know of, I think I did that 3 or 4 times. So if I remember correctly, I only really finished Regular Show like 3 months ago, I think. Even though I think I started this trend like well over a year or 2 years ago. And, I usually would just watch one series, and then if I got really bored of it, I might watch a different one for a little bit, but usually I could just watch through it because I've seen through 90% of the episodes, if not 100%. I guess I should say 99% of the episodes. There's pretty much, I think maybe throughout all of Adventure Time, there's one episode that I didn't remember. And I can't remember which one that is right now, but just overall, there's only like one episode I legitimately did not recall, which is weird, but at the same time, it's only one, and it was on the tail end of Adventure Time. I'm trying to I'm wondering which episode it was, because now it's kind of bothering me that I can't remember. Well, when I rewatched Adventure Time, that was a while ago, because it was one of the first ones I did. But yeah, so and so I did all of this through HBO Max when it was still called that, because screw calling it Max, that's stupid, honestly. But so I didn't watch the original Ben 10 all the way through because I just didn't for some reason. I don't remember why. I think it's because my brother had been watching it and I ended up watching a couple episodes and I was like, oh man, it's so good, I should watch the other ones. And I'd never seen the Ben 10 reboot, and I didn't specifically watch through the Ben 10 reboot, but I watched through Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse. And I didn't watch any of the movies because weird. They're weird. I mean, they're okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with them, but the live action ones are kind of funny, just like from like a visual standpoint. I mean, they got the sound effects down to a science, though, I think, if I remember correctly. But I haven't seen I only remember 2 of the movies. And those movies were I want to say it's like 3D animated or something. And then the live action one with Eon, the guy who dresses in purple or whatever. And in both of them, it was the original Ben, I guess, from the original series. I'm just trying to remember, because so the animated one was about I forget what it was called, but basically the watch was on the fritz and it was turning other people into his aliens, which was bad. And then the live action one was Eon, and Eon's shtick is the same every time, pretty much. But I did recently. I caved in, so maybe like half a year ago at this point. I watched the live, not live action, nothing live action. I watched the Ben 10 reboot, and it was mid. I'm just gonna say that. Like it was mostly mid, but what I will say is that so right at the end, and usually at the end of every season, they do like a 45-minute episode that's like a super cool thing, and those are always really cool. So the first one introduced Vilgax, and then he barely showed up again. He showed up in season 2 for a couple episodes, I think, but that was it. Then he was gone. I have no idea. I don't remember him coming back. And then one of the new aliens for the series, because it was mostly so. One of my issues with the reboot is they like, and I think everyone who's seen the reboot has this, is just Stinkfly. Like, I'm sorry, but like Stinkfly should not be like one of the minions of Darkseid. You know? Then it, like, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the comics or just like the Justice League movie, the live action one, but those weird moth-like creatures. He kind of looks like that, except he's like brighter colored. Most of the antagonists are kind of weird, and they each have their own themes, kind of. I think the most exciting side character, I want to say, was the Vin Diesel guy. I forget, I think they all just called him Vinny, but he was it was basically just like Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious movies, where he's all just like family. The most important thing is family. So they just make a cool guy with a cool car who does car races, and he just kind of like, I always care about family, and that's his whole shtick, and it's really funny. because at least for people who are aware of it, like, that's what that's referring to, and it's pretty funny, honestly, how they just basically put like a Vin Diesel character into it. At least I think it's Vin Diesel. I mean, they call him Vinny in the show, but I don't know. I've never actually seen a Fast and Furious movie, so it's just what I heard. It was like the memes and stuff. But I think that's my favorite side character overall. The Forever Knight is in the show, but honestly, I can't even remember what happened to him. Did he lose? I think some of the episodes on HBO Max are like disconjoined, like they're in the wrong order. Because it just seems like wrong, I guess. I don't like the order seems incorrect. Like they do this whole big thing where Vinny is allying with the Forever Knight guy, and like a bunch of other villains are too. Because Vinny's kind of like a side villain. He's not like the main villain. There's this other guy who's like a jerk who like cheats at racing, and Vinny just happened to like be a part of like one of the races, and I think people were like, haha, that's really funny. So they kept him in the show, and they slowly made him into like an actual character. But I don't know. Like, and then so they did this huge crossover sort of thing where they were trying to screw with the timeline using stuff, and they got like all the bad guys to join, and I think Ben was with them too for a bit. I don't remember why. Long story short, it didn't work out. But the episode again, that was like one of the 45-minute specials or whatever. And then the episode after that was like another Vinny episode, which I was like, yes, he's so cool and funny. And at the end of the episode, the Forever Knight showed up and was like, hey, come join me. And he was like, I'd do anything for family. And then he joined him for some reason. I don't really remember why. So I was like, so wait, are the episodes... I'm pretty sure the episodes are out of order. Or something's not being explained properly to me. I don't know. Overall, I think like the 45-minute episodes are worth watching, and there are certain other episodes that are probably good. And they do a lot of like interesting stuff. And they make references to the original chain of series, I guess, of Ben 10. So, so one of the specials is a Generator Rex collab thingy, though they're both really young at that point, I guess. So it kind of like throws the Generator Rex bit, like, because I started watching Generator Rex, and what annoys me is that I basically just bought the seasons, like each of the I think 5 or 6 seasons on my Xbox, and I haven't watched through all of them. I think I'm midway through season 3 at this point, but like, you know, there was the whole original crossover, but now it's sort of like they're in the same universe, and I'm all confused in a way. I don't know. I swear, I don't know. I didn't hate the series. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm too old. Even though I'm only 20, maybe I'm just too old for, like, that. Like, it felt a little too young. Like, they covered some relatively, like, oh no, did he die? No, he's still alive. Yay. Power of friendship. You know? I don't know. I mean, there was some other stuff that was kind of funny, like, at one point they kind of talk about, like, the plumbers, you know, the intergalactic space police or whatever in Ben 10. And the Grandpa Max, he's basically like, no, don't tell them anything. The kids don't know. I didn't tell them. Don't bring it up. which is funny because they were right there. He was like just standing behind him. He was like, no, don't tell them. But like, you know, like making like an X with his arms and stuff. I don't know. I just thought it was really funny because it was like he hadn't told them or brought it up at all, and like the Rust Bucket never like had or never seemed to have like the rockets and boosters and stuff, which is interesting. I don't know. There's Ben 10's a good series. The reboot's okay, but you know, he's back to being 10, but like he's 10 nowadays, which means he's dumber, and even though he learns lessons, he learns very similar lessons a lot of the time. And it's always fairly obvious when he's supposed to learn a lesson. It's like, oh, this is the lesson they're learning, basically. You can tell. I mean, it's not bad for, like, kids and stuff, but, you know, maybe if there was, like, there's probably a list of, like, you know, canonical / like, mandatory episodes to understand, like, the important stuff that you could watch, and I just recommend watching those ones instead. Just because, like, you know, it's cool, but it's forgettable. And there are other ones too, but I think that's about enough for now, honestly. I've got to get gas, so I will see you all in the next episode of the Draft Phone Podcast. Have a good one. Bye.